answers that he will discover in the future.
I'm honored to represent Issaquah High School's graduating class. I was recently admitted to Brown University and I'm planning on studying biochemistry and molecular biology. The staff and resources at Issaquah High School were invaluable in the effort towards helping me achieve my lifelong dream. Through courses like AP Biology, AP Chemistry, and the biomedical course taught by Miss Law, I've had unparalleled access to enriching experiences ranging from the dissection of sheep brains to commonplace lab experiments like gel electrophoresis. The engaging content and hands-on activities offered by Issaquah High School science staff make it easy for students to explore their curiosities and fall in love with the intricacies of the physical world. The large impression left by Issaquah High School has motivated me to explore biochemistry outside of the classroom. Over the last 3 years, I have also been a research intern at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center in Seattle. Through my knowledge gained in biology and chemistry courses, combined with the support of my mentors at Fred Hutchinson, I was able to discover a new oncogenic mechanism for the gene RBM45 in lung adenocarcinoma patients. It is this process of life-changing discovery that motivates me to be in the field of biochemistry. At Brown, I plan to continue my scientific education with the end goal of applying to medical school. I hope to one day become a practicing oncologist and treat patients with personalized and preventive-based care.
Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing from Liberty High School, Manot Elias. Manot, come on up. Manot was nominated for criterion that had to do with civic engagement. This is from the staff at Liberty High School. All of the line items under E3, civic engagement, fit our nominee perfectly. Manot is an optimistic, confident, impactful, and determined student at Liberty High School. He's always well prepared, eager to lend a hand, and his leadership potential is limitless. This year, Manot has spearheaded the establishment of the Black Student Union Club at Liberty, providing students with a crucial platform for expression and empowerment. Manot's leadership has filled a significant void, ensuring that students have a voice in a space where it was previously lacking. Manot exemplifies a deep passion for the culinary arts, showing his talent and dedication by contributing to the vibrant culinary culture at Liberty's El Cafe. His passion for his ethnic heritage have created a deep ambition in him to create a better future for himself and others at Liberty High School and in our community. His efforts and impact will be felt at Liberty High School long after he is gone. Manot.
Hello, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Manot Elias. I'm a senior at Liberty. I unfortunately still do not know where I will be attending, but I plan on going to a four-year college or university majoring in international relations. I hope to go to law school after and find a career in the United Nations to help advocacy in world problems and world issues, which is a really strong passion of mine. And yeah, thank you for having me.
And from Skyline High School, we have Haley Butts representing E4 Life Management and Personal Awareness. Haley. Staff had to say about Haley. Haley is an essential part of the Skyline community, dedicating the last 4 years to enhancing her classmates' high school experience. She played pivotal roles in ASB and class council, including serving as president of her senior class. Haley has demonstrated exceptional skills in cooperation and collaboration, vital for her working with a diverse student body. Her ability to manage budgets, prioritize needs, and ensure everyone feels heard is particularly noteworthy, especially for events like prom, where she effectively represents the student voice within tight constraints of a budget. Recognizing the challenges of high school, Haley advocates for fun and stress relief. She organizes social events and brings her classmates together with laughter and fun. She recently created the college admissions rejection wall in the senior hallway, where seniors voluntarily post their rejection letters uniting students as they navigate a pool of uncertainty through their shared experience and normalizing rejection as a part of life. We can't wait to see what Haley does in the future. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Haley Butts. I've been in ASB all 4 years of high school. I was sophomore class vice president, junior class president, and now I'm senior class president. I just have so much fun leading my school. I literally have the best class I could ever ask for. We have so many amazing students. I can't wait for next year. I'm currently deciding between my top 3 college that admitted to, Purdue University Business School, let's see, Cal Poly and Gonzaga. Leading towards Cal Poly right now, really looking for that sun, as you guys know. But I'm really excited to see what I do the next 4 years and what all my other peers do the next 4 years. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. On behalf of the 2024 ISD senior class and my fellow nominees, it is my honor to invite you to our commencement ceremonies.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you so much for coming today, and we are so proud of each of you and every one of our high school graduates. And we have had that date marked on our calendar for a long time, and we can't wait to see you guys in June and celebrate with you. We have additional public comment now, and the first folks are Matthew Fisher and Andrew Kim. When you come up, if you would introduce yourself and where you attend school. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Matthew Fisher. I'm a student at Issaquah High School, and I'm a part of a student group called the Sustainability Ambassadors. A group of students here today have come from across the district to advocate for a comprehensive sustainability policy in the Issaquah School District. With Issaquah School District spanning multiple cities, we reached out to their respective city council boards and have letters of recommendation from City of Sammamish, City of Issaquah, and City of Newcastle on here. And so we know there's several regulations in place already for energy efficiency, resource management, as well as environmental curriculum in the district. Specifically Regulation 6810, resource conservation, 6923, energy conservation, 6865, recycling and waste stream reduction, and more. As a high school student in this school district, I've personally seen the impact of sustainable practices, leading a project to distribute over 500 refillable water bottles at IHS and the launch of a new recycling and composting reboot at Issaquah High School. The policy gives a great opportunity to collaborate with local cities and work together towards a combined goals for the environment. And most importantly, this policy would provide increased visibility for over the 19,000 students in the Issaquah School District who are the next generation of citizens in Washington and will have to work towards a sustainable future.
Hello, my name is Andrew Kim. I'm also a junior at Issaquah High School, as well as a teen intern for Sustainable Ambassadors. As Matthew mentioned, we believe that a district-wide sustainability policy will be highly beneficial, as a policy will help everyone better understand the wide range of steps that need to be taken to achieve the criteria set about by the Clean Building Act. We understand the many initiatives that have already taken place to achieve compliance with the EUIT, or the Energy Usage Intensity Target, and we believe that creating a policy can ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of meeting these targets across the district. In this way, the Issaquah School District can help do their part in spreading awareness, reducing its carbon footprint, and making the world an overall better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Sophia Sun. Again, if you introduce yourself and your school.
All right. Hello? Okay. Hello, my name is Sophia Sun, a student at Skyline High School and a sustainability ambassador as well. Thank you for allowing me to testify. Last year, I worked with Rishi Hazra, a fellow Sammamish sustainability ambassador, in an initiative to push the Sammamish City Council into creating and adopting a climate action plan. The Sammamish team also focused on other sustainable initiatives, many of which with the cooperation of the Issaquah School District, such as the implementation of a water bottle refill system, integrating sustainability into school's curriculum, and more. The ISD board has been central to many great sustainability initiatives. However, we would like to have a written policy which allows for the district to highlight and grow upon past actions. We ask that the Issaquah School District Board centers students and community voices when developing the sustainability policy. The Sammamish and Issaquah team has collected over 130 signatures from youth and community members in support of the school board establishing a sustainability policy. We applaud the district's ISD board representative program, and we recognize the impact it has caused. However, we would like to further encourage initiatives to prioritize informing youth and tax-paying community members about major actions, especially when concerning the coming Clean Building Act that will force the district to implement drastic change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have Sienna Gould and Zoe Dini.
Hello, my name is Sienna Gould, and I'm a student at Gibson Neck High School. Our neighbor Bellevue has a strong example of a sustainability policy that our team of ambassadors has looked through and think is a really great place to start when potentially developing a policy. Another thing that Bellevue has recently begun to implement that we would love to advocate for here in Issaquah is a Sustainability Committee Advisory Group. This group focuses on planning the implementation of the 4 pillars they've decided on while creating their policy, and joins passionate students, community members, and school board representatives to give their input. Creating a policy and plan that reflects the goals of our city's climate action plans and our community's hope for the future of Issaquah would be a huge step. Thank you.
My name is Zoe Deering, and I am also a junior at Gibson Neck High School. Over the last month, my team and I have presented to the Issaquah, Newcastle, Sammamish, and Renton City Councils, requesting their support in our initiative to work with the school board in establishing a sustainability policy. As you may know, Issaquah, Newcastle, and Sammamish have written letters of recommendation addressed to the school board, reinforcing the importance of environmental and sustainability issues across the Issaquah School District. Our ask is for the Issaquah School Board to work with us, the Issaquah School District Sustainability Ambassadors team, in representing of regional climate action efforts. We encourage the board to use Bellevue School District's policy as a baseline and build in relevant city climate action plan targets in order to better connect the school district to its surrounding communities. We thank you for your time and consideration and hope to hear from the ISD school board soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you to each of you for coming and sharing the work that you've done. And we do appreciate that a lot. Were there any other people here for public input? Anyone on Zoom for public input? Oh. Okay, so if you would turn on your camera and introduce yourself in your feeder pattern area, we would appreciate it.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No.
Not yet. Are you on mute?
There we go. Hi. Thank you for your time. My name is Ann Newcomb. I am a concerned citizen, and I'm here as a member of the community. I live in Issaquah. Actually, I have an Issaquah address, but live in unincorporated King County up the Issaquah Hobart Road. Is there any other details you need about me? Okay, cool. I'm here to support the Issaquah Sustainability Ambassadors team with their efforts in creating an Issaquah School District Sustainability Policy Plan, and then also the students with the advisory committee, which I'm just finding out about. Having a good plan and executing on it will not only be good for students and staff in creating sustainable habits, but will also help everyone to know that they are doing their part to support a healthy environment, which it's very empowering. The city of Issaquah is part of the King County City Climate Collaborative, where mayors have joined together and agreed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but 50% by 2030 and 80% by 2050 compared to a 2007 baseline. Issaquah has created a climate action plan to help us reach these goals and hold true to our commitment. Issaquah is making great progress implementing actions that will reduce Issaquah greenhouse gas emissions to help mitigate the effects of climate change, as well as building resilience to the changes we are facing. Cities need the support of school districts to ensure important goals are met, and this will in turn help the county, state, country, and world meet important goals. I was impressed to see the well-thought-out, high-quality plans created by school districts, including Ann Arbor, Denver, Boulder, LA, and Bellevue, included in a letter Zoe shared with the Issaquah Environmental Board. These plans could be used as an inspiration for the Issaquah School District. I also think it is safe to say the Issaquah Sustainability Department and community members would be happy to support the school district efforts to create a plan. Climate change is weighing heavy on a lot of us, but especially youth. There is nothing more empowering than working together to create a better world. A sustainability policy plan is a great place to start. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? Perfect. Seeing none, we are moving on to our next item, which is approval of the consent agenda.
I move the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go. The next item is establishment of the regular agenda. Are there any changes?
There are no changes.
Perfect. Our first item tonight on our agenda is works in progress.
Great, thank you. I'll start off with a couple of follow-up topics that have been present at not only the most recent board meeting before this, 2 weeks ago, but also that I've been hearing questions about in our community, which is really how are our students doing in some cases where we see maybe more extreme behaviors in some of our classrooms or obvious expression by students that there is an unmet need potentially. And I do want to, talk a little bit about this because we do know that COVID did significantly impact our students socially and academically. And we also know that this effect will be with us for many more years. I want to consider that our earliest learners, not only in K this year, but also those that are entering kindergarten next year, were 1 to 2 years old when COVID hit. And that meant missing out on a lot of opportunities to be able to engage with peers, conflict resolve, problem solve, and have many other interactions with lots of adults as well, from many different backgrounds. And so as a public school system, we will continue to have the effects of COVID with us for the next 13 years for those earliest learners. As a parent of someone who was 1 to 2 years old at that time, I know we had a lot of limitations on what we were able to do with him socially, as well as with other families and other adults in the world. And as a school system, we welcome all learners to our schools and have ways to learn about our kids' strengths as they enter and as they continue to grow and progress through each grade level, and how we continue to support them when they are expressing to us that they do have needs. And many times when our students are giving us feedback through their questions, what they tell us directly, but also behavior is also a form of communication. It sometimes lets us know that we can do things differently as adults in the classroom, as well as go deeper to understand what a student might be facing as to why they might be having an experience that is leading them to have a difficult time in our classrooms and in our play spaces. So it is a topic that has come up across the country locally as well. It's a topic that many superintendents talk about together about, are we meeting the well-being of all of our students? And are we meeting the needs of our students who have unmet needs as well? And that is something that is an important topic. It is why we explicitly have student well-being at the very beginning of our strategic plan as a top priority. And we do everything we can to get at root causes and identifying what unmet needs might be. And we also know we have evidence-based practices for how we can support kids to be their best selves in our schools, both academically and socially. We can't do it alone, though. There is supports outside of the community that are very important as well. And we can always focus on, continuing to support our teachers and our staff with training, space and time to be able to talk about where we can improve both teaching practices, but also supports from the many adults that work with our students. And in general, thinking about how we leverage systems of support through multi-tiered systems of support, leverage the community resources that exist. We have several other supports in place that do help with the most unmet needs and try and get at different root causes and solutions that might help a student and their family, such as Care Solace. We have Swedish mental health counselors also in our buildings. And we also have training that helps us called Safety Cares through look at our support for our young people who are having the hardest time through the lens of trauma-informed practices. So we do have these mechanisms to help support our well-being for our students. And we are also implementing the SABRS, which is a diagnostic data, but we have just started that first year to understand kids' well-being as well. So a couple of things is we do want to do more to help increase what those supports look like, but we also, as I said, can't do it alone. And when I consider the role that our state legislator can play in helping to fund additional resources and supports, that is something that we know is important, and we are, helping. We want that support to help us increase and sharpen the supports that we currently have. And those are important topics for us as a community and as a district. And so have been talking about what that could look like, right? Even with our partners in different spaces as we seek to look for improving what we have, but also leveraging the tools that we do have even more so to be more effective. All of our kids are doing, we have great kids in our school system, and we want to make sure that we are helping every single student be able to thrive. I think a lot about that every day as my own son fell on the floor during the kindergarten assessment this week. So yes, and everyone was very gracious and kind and knew how to help him. And I appreciate that. And it takes great staff to continue to do that. And we want to support our staff in all the ways that we can to continue to show up in great ways for our kids. So I did want to talk a little bit about that. It has been top of mind, as I said, topic in the community and at the last board meeting and public comment. Moving on to some other updates from my point of view, a team earlier this month and I met with a group of Jewish professionals representing several organizations and the parent community in Issaquah. Rich Mellish, Dana Bailey, Wendy Castleman, Elena Sividasan, and I went to Temple de Hirsch Sinai, hosted by Rabbi Daniel Wiener. And we were joined by representatives from other organizations such as the Holocaust Center for Humanity, Stand With Us Northwest, and the Jewish Federation of Greater Seattle. We had a productive and intentional listening, learning, and sharing opportunity that allowed for several next steps for helping our staff and students engage in more fully in understanding world events in historical context and in current terms. Last week, we were inducted as a school district into the Digital Promises League of Innovative Schools. And that organization offers opportunities for districts to come together at intervals and talk about the various ways schools are delivering on excellence and beyond for their communities. And Julia Bamba and I got to travel to New York to represent the district and be inducted. We are joining 150 other school districts that cover and serve over 4.4 million students. And We were so excited to have that opportunity. We took a lot of learning, and given our own district's legacy of innovation, I think it's appropriate for the district to be inducted. And we also know that our forward thinking in the future will also be augmented by that work. A couple other things. I today had a wonderful opportunity to attend the incredible 25th anniversary event for Nourish Every Mind. It was great to see other board members, directors Coyne, Moraldo, and Taylor. I know that other directors had conflicts and were unable to attend, but it was a really great event, and it was emceed by a current parent, Mary Nam, and who was also a voice mentor. We got to hear from the new executive director, Dwight Heckelman, and hear about how the Issaquah Schools Foundation is supporting the innovative work to find new things that are helpful to students and to teachers. We heard great highlights from our students at Clark Elementary, Maywood Middle School, Pacific Cascade Middle School, Issaquah Middle and High School. And finally, I'm excited to share that we have 2 new principal hires at the elementary level. Sean Cornwall is the new principal at Cougar Ridge Elementary School, and Sean started with the Issaquah School District in 2013 as a science tech teacher at Clark. And from there, he spent time at Newcastle and has been recently serving as the assistant principal at Creekside Elementary. So Sean not only has had many experiences in our current school district, but also in other states such as Arizona, Colorado, and Idaho. And at Apollo Elementary, Julie Rojo has accepted this principal position, and Julie comes to us from Plumas Lake Elementary School District in California, where she's had over a decade of serving as a building principal and has experience in early literacy and accelerating language development for multilingual and bilingual learners. So I'm very pleased to welcome 2 new principals to our principal ranks.
Thank you for that update. Were there any questions? Oh. Okay, any questions? No. I appreciate the update. I just want to also acknowledge on behalf of the board, we appreciate public input, both what we heard tonight, as well as last week. Some of our most important stakeholders in this school district are our amazing professional educators, and we really do want to hear their voices and their hearts, and are grateful for how they do show up every day for all of our students. And we encourage them to come have breakfast with the board, and we will do more listening over a series of Wednesdays this spring, starting April 3rd at Skyline High School, and then April 24th and May 8th. So we really do take listening to our teachers really seriously and hope they can join us. With that, I wanted to move on to our next agenda item, which is bond planning update / work study recap. So the hour prior to this meeting, we were in work study talking about the bond planning, and that's why we have moved this to a weird place in our agenda to do this together.
Great. So our update is pretty brief, which is that we've had now 5 meetings of the Bond Advisory Committee, and we have 3 more remaining. It's been a very helpful opportunity for our community to be able to have representatives across the community that represent through multiple hats all of Issaquah School District. And this past week, they started talking about tax implications and starting to see and hear more about the sort of full list of potential projects that could exist. And we are looking forward to bringing more data about what those projects will cost so that the team can continue to make a strong recommendation based on their knowledge that has been built over the course of the past 5 meetings related to programs, initiatives, work that's happening, work that we would like to do, as well as certain mandates such as the Clean Buildings Act and other kinds of needs that come with building modernization. And looking at that through the near term, knowing that we're looking for the next, 6 years worth of work specifically. And we can have Martin Turney or Tom Mullings come up here and just sort of be alongside for any additional updates or questions the board might have as we continue to progress through our work with the Bond Advisory Committee on behalf of the community.
Thank you. Wanted to open up to board members for either questions or reflections from the hour prior to in our work study or to elevate now as we continue this conversation? Yeah, Director Quinn.
So I'm happy to start, and I think it's a great tie and segue, frankly, from our work study to some of our public input and some of the letters that we've been getting, obviously, about the Clean Buildings Act. We've been in discussion on that topic, I don't know, the last couple of months on what would be required, what does that look like, how do we prioritize within our district and the buildings within, and I think it was a good conversation to start to get down to what that looks like more specifically by building, based on their age, based on their current, or maybe recent renovation work and what that looks like. So it's good to get emails where you know you're working on the topic and have people give public input on the same. So I think that it's really good timing, and it's important, I think, from a community perspective to understand it. There's a commitment in that area, as well as we're all going to need to make a commitment to make that real as we go forward, because it is sizable. It will be sizable sums of money in order to bring our numerous facilities, I'm going to quote the wrong number, in alignment with that Clean Buildings Act. That is an act that comes with no funding. So we are not provided dollars to go out and make those changes to our building. So those are things we'll have to fund right here at home in order to make that work. So I think it's great that all the kind of minds and feedback is aligning on a great topic.
I'm just going to share, I've had some recent conversations over the last couple of weeks with members of the community who've kind of asked for sort of the underlying theme around the bond. And I want to, thank the bond committee for really formulating some thoughts around it, really giving us space for innovation. I think about high school number 4, really giving us that room to be able to really innovate. I look at particularly Skyline and Issaquah High, and the size of our student populations at those schools, that is limiting in terms of the amount of innovation we can do. And so I think with high school 4, it really gives us that ability, the space to really innovate. And that's a big takeaway for me.
Sure, just an observation. I actually on Tuesday night had the opportunity to step in and observe some of the bond committee meeting, and just wanted to say, really a great group of folks, all very engaged, large group of people in the room, all very much engaged, asking super smart questions, and clearly to me they were really zeroing in and understanding the district's needs. So anyway, I just sharing that with all of you folks, that I came away with that thinking, boy, these folks are really doing some very important work for our community. So.
Perfect. Anything else from your side? Okay. Well, thank you. I know this is going to be continued dialogue. Every meeting, we want to make sure that we have an opportunity for our board and administration to have conversation about this bond planning that's been going on, because it is as you said, something that touches the sustainability that was brought up today, but it doesn't come to zero cost, and the whole community is going to have to get behind this. And we hope that you guys are registered voters and will help us with this process. Perfect. Our next item on our agenda is capital projects update.
Good evening, everyone. Tom Mullins, Director of Capital Projects. Wanted to do a quick update on the status of the 2018 and 2022 critical repairs levies, and also provide an update on some other capital work the Capital Projects Department is working on. Some significant updates in the 2018 critical repairs. It looks like we're going to be painting the exterior of Challenger Elementary School this summer. We're in the process of choosing colors and putting bid packages together at this time. Transportation Center Shops AC project, which has been out there for a while. We're in final design, getting bid packages together, getting ready to get out on the street. That project will, we're looking to occur over the summer. Beaver Lake Middle School and Maple Hills Elementary School fire alarm replacements. Bids have been received, contractors are signed up, ready to go. The projects are underway. Maple Hills Elementary School DAS installation. That's the emergency responder radio system. That is underway. The antennas have been, the antenna cables arrays have been started to distribute throughout the building. That work will hopefully be done in about, I'm estimating about 2 months. 22, some significant updates in the 22 critical repair levies. Liberty High School just had finished and occupied the portable classroom we installed down there, portable 9 and 10. It was moved from Maywood Middle School. Clean Buildings Act investment grade audit for the 3 high schools, 3 comprehensive high schools is they're finishing up. They've got all their information gathered. They're in the final throes of putting the report together. The report has to follow a lot of state Department of Commerce guidelines. And so that's coming together. We're looking late April for that, for final cost, final analysis. Some other projects we've got going. We had a water heater failure. We had a series of water heater failures throughout the district over the last few months. Endeavor Elementary is out. The project's out to bid. We've got the bids back on that one. We're vetting contractors right now. Skyline High School, Issaquah High School, and Liberty High School, all projects are in design. And within the next probably month, those bid packages will be out on the street. That work will also occur probably over the summer. Water damage from the January freeze projects at Newcastle, Cedar Trails, and Briarwood Elementary were in design. It's been a collaborative effort with the insurance, Washington State Risk Management Pool, their consultants and ours to put together bid packages. Skyline High School has a new scoreboard they're putting in their gym, which has turned out to be quite a little more of a complicated project than I think they anticipated. So we stepped in to help them get that completed in a fashion that everyone will be pleased with. Next steps, 2018, continue advancing the completion of the 2018 in particular and the 22 critical repairs projects, and continue to complete the other projects that we've taken on in a timely fashion. Any questions?
I think you wanted to open up for any questions. Director Coyne?
Tom, thank you for that update. I was very glad to see the note on the paint on Challenger. I'm sure Director Taylor would agree as well.
Yeah.
We were having that exact conversation a couple of weeks ago when we went on that tour. So that's great news. Glad to see that on the list.
Great.
As long as it's not, about to bounce off the campus of Beaver Lake, we can't have 2 cougar colored buildings on the same campus.
I don't know.
Just so you know.
Purple and
yeah. So do you have any idea when you think you'll be at the substantially complete phase for the 2018 levy?
I would love to say that we will be substantially complete at the end of the summer. I can't promise that, but we're working as hard as we can to get as many of those projects going as we can. It's been a little bit of a slog with the limited staff, but we've been making use of everybody's time and doing the best we can to get as much complete as possible. But we should, I'm guessing 75% complete at the end of the summer, and hopefully a little more.
We really appreciate the attention you're placing on this, and this is an important part for the board, and we appreciate these updates. So thank you for all the work you and your team are doing.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. You're not off the hook yet, Director Geraldo.
I had a question. Around the water damage for the January freeze with Newcastle, we had a discussion, it's 20-year-old building, can kind of understand that. Briarwood, it's been a while, but Cedar Trails is a practically brand new. And I'm thinking back to a discussion that the WASDA board. The Washington State School Directors Association, brand new building, opened up, I think, in 2021, had the same thing happen during the big freeze. And, they're going back to their insurance to be able to say, hey, something was done improperly when the building was built. Are we looking into what was the cause of that? Was there some faulty piping that was put in? Was there not enough installation around that? So what was causing it in a brand new building? The other buildings I can completely understand, but this one, I'm not sure of.
All three of those projects that froze were where dry sprinkler pipes, which feed the outside of the building, awnings and things like that, tie in with wet sprinkler systems, which are inside the building. The proximity is there. And with the severe cold temperatures and the wind chill factor that was it happened. I've had this discussion with many engineers and architects about it. It was surprising that it didn't happen more. No one feels that it was faulty design or faulty installation at all. It was the temperatures were down at 10 or 12 degrees for 3 or 4 days. We designed the code for this area requires to design for about 22 to 24 degrees over what they consider to be an extended period, which I think is 3 days. So we were well below that. So I don't see us being able to go back and find fault with anyone on that.
Is there any future mitigation that will happen if we find ourselves in that same weather scenario to prevent this? Like, is there anything you can do from a heating standpoint?
Facility standpoint, we're going to turn the temperature up. We're going to foresee that and turn it up and try to overheat those buildings. And if you help overpressurize the buildings too, you can imagine with more air pressure inside the building, it keeps that cold air out versus letting that, the system, just overpressurization will help keep that cold air out better.
Did that answer your question, Director Rolando? Great. Any other questions? Nope. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next item is online learning update.
Great. I see Dr. Dana Bailey making her way up, as well as Stephanie Grayson, our online learning coordinator. And I want to preface this by saying this is maybe the first presentation and or information, for discussion and learning publicly for the board. There has been items, in different places in our ends reporting, exec limitations reporting that refer to online learning. But we wanted to make sure we brought forward this important work to highlight it and also share a bit about who this is serving in terms of the student population. And I expect there to be questions such as how do online learning courses get interpreted on transcripts and potentially, through a college admissions process because they might not show up the same way. So I will pass it over to the team to introduce themselves and share a bit more.
Thank you, Dana Bailey, Chief Academic and Student Success Officer.
Stephanie Grayson, Online Learning Coordinator.
Take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dana Bailey, for introducing me this evening, and thank you to Superintendent Heather Talyuk, the student representatives, and the Board of Directors for inviting me to share a little bit more about our program here. I am excited to be here with all of you to give you a glimpse into the world of online learning, and I look forward to answering your questions at the end of the presentation. Since 2012, online learning has served students in grades 7 through 12 who reside in the ISD. We provide students with an opportunity to take high school level courses. The flexibility of our online learning program empowers students to take agency over their learning in an asynchronous or self-directed environment. Students can take 1 to 2 semester-long courses with us for a maximum of 8 total online courses or 4 credits during their high school career. Starting this summer, students in grades 5 through 8 can participate in elementary or middle school level coursework to support their current learning or accelerate their math or science pathway. So just a little overview about our course information and then the support that we offer to our students. So our coursework is online, no live streaming, and they are self-directed. There is an asterisk after self-directed because our courses are gated. This means students move through their courses sequentially versus the ability to jump around. We do have module, unit, and final test in person. Before every term, we offer several different sessions of live Zoom student orientations. Our courses for the first time this year are integrated onto the Canvas LMS platform. We use the Accelerate Education, which is an OSPI approved provider. And every course has a Washington State certified teacher endorsed in their specific content area, along with every student is paired with an ISD certified teacher mentor. So to help facilitate the learning process, we have designated adult support for our students. So the Accelerate teacher's primary responsibility is answering content course questions, grading and providing feedback on assignments, and available to set up Zoom sessions with our students. Our ISD teacher mentors' primarily responsibility is really building that relationships with students in a virtual world, supporting students in their courses. So students maybe need help signing up for a test. They need help getting caught back up with their course. Weekly check-ins and monthly progress reviews are done by our fabulous mentors, and then they're also in charge of documentation and our state compliance. We have our ISD teacher test proctors, the coordinator, myself, and our amazing registrar, Emily Tam, who oversees all of our registration and enrollments for our program. So we have 2 different models for how students can take online learning courses and reasons why students take our classes with us. So we have our alternative learning experience model and our family pay model. So oftentimes for alternative learning experience model, you will hear us say ALE. And this means that it is a state funded, it's no cost to the student. It happens within the student's school day. So students either typically take the courses period 1 and or period 7. We have the requirements of the weekly check-ins and then the monthly progress reviews, and students are assigned that ALE ISD mentor. And then our other model is our family pay for our high school and middle school students. So this is for students that are looking to take a course outside of their school day. So they have a full course load during the school day, and then they'll take this course in addition. There is a course fee attached to this. We do have scholarships available where we really try to work with our families, and then also an assigned ISD mentor. So why do students take online learning courses with us? The number one reason is learning style. So this data was pulled for last year, 2022, 2023. So about 40% of our students took it for learning style. 27%, second reason, acceleration, looking to accelerate their math pathway. And then our third reason is course not offered at 16%. An example of this would be students at a Skyline looking to take an AP course because it's an IB program, or possibly we offer a course that's just not offered in the building at our other high schools. And then the other reason students take our classes, credit recovery. We do have a credit recovery model where we support students out of the admin building and front load them with support. Grade improvement, we see about 8%. Grad requirement, enrichment, discipline, and credit deficient. So program growth, a couple different, we have our chart on the left and then our table on the right. On the left side, you can see the enrollment trend since fall 2018. And you can see all the terms at the bottom. And so that's on the horizontal axis, the x-axis right there. And then the enrollments on the vertical side. So typically our fall enrollment is a little bit less than our spring and summer. We did try something new this year where we opened up our fall application. We opened up our fall application on March 1st this year to try to align better with the scheduling that's happening at the buildings. Spring and summer, our highest enrollment is actually this spring right now. We're serving 435 enrollments, and we're anticipating around 600 enrollments for summer 2024. And we'll get to that why in a second. And then our table shows the increase over the last 5 years. Each year. So starting in 1920, we had a 3% increase. And then school year 2021, 5% increase, 21, 22, 11% increase, 22, 23, 27% increase. And then 23, 24, we're expecting anywhere from 20 to 25% increase in our enrollment. There are potential factors, really trying to work on that communication with all of our families and out to the community. So doing the weekly bulletins, engaging with our students and families via email and phone, working closely with counselors, creating that team of how we can support students and their needs and coming up with out-of-the-box type ideas. Student positive experiences. Just here's some student feedback of what they like about their online learning course. So far, I love being able to teach myself things. I am better at it than I thought I would be. I like how flexible it is. I have been stressing about one of my college classes, so it was nice to not have to fully worry about the due dates in this class while studying. I enjoy being able to do things on my own time. With some of my classes, I struggle with getting things done on time, but being able to manage my own time with the online course has helped a lot. I like how I can work at my own pace and go back to relearn the material whenever I want. Learning options for students, so the flexibility just to learn in various settings. We help with the, hopefully the balance of life commitments in school and then the ability to study and relearn. Try to pride ourselves on high rigor and expectations for our program. So we really want to prepare our learners to be able to go back in building and or for post-secondary virtual experiences. But we also want to teach them how to take an online learning course. And this happens through a student orientation that support encouraging students to advocate for themselves. And then we have some new policy changes that I think will be affecting the summer school enrollment. The grade improvements for summer school can only be done online and they're not in person. Starting this spring, students can grade improve any grade in a course, so D or higher. And then the addition of our online high school level science courses, middle school level coursework, and 5th grade level coursework. Okay. And then, so highlights and what's new. Obviously, program growth. We have our new provider, the Canvas integration. I would like to point out we are the only school district that the provider is doing the Canvas integration with. From a user perspective, it works absolutely beautiful. When students open up their Canvas platform, they see all of their classes in building, and then they also see their online learning classes as well. Success passing rate, 98% overall for last school year, and then I'm anticipating about mid-90s. And then we have our in-person testing and then cost efficiency. Let's go ahead and look at those tables. So for fall 2022, spring 2023, you'll see the subject area and then the average grade students received in that subject area. And then in the parentheses are the enrollment numbers. We have the overall average, and then I also included the weighted average just in case we had any outliers there. And then our enrollment by race and ethnicity. This is not data pulled from Skyward. We actually pull this data from how students and families fill out our application. So we have a question on there and students are able to select how they racially and ethnically identify for our program. And then next. Okay, where are we going? So dream big goals. It's great to dream big and think about where education can be and what we can do and how we can best serve all of our students. So perhaps looking at opening a full-time online learning secondary school. A full-time online learning secondary school would provide ISD students and families with an option to access a remote ISD education. This past year, our department has received at least 2 to 3 inquiries per week from families and building staff regarding full-time online school options. By offering a full-time online learning school, we can retain and bring back ISD students who have left our system to be elsewhere. Second goal, creating a space for drop-in academic support for our online courses, perhaps adding online elementary options, and then just continue to offer secondary learning online options for our students. If you'd like to learn more about our program, our website is linked below. Thank you for allowing me to present this evening. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Can you start with the questions and the framing that our superintendent did with
Sure.
the impact on transcript and
Yeah.
how, let's say, UW College Admissions would view this coursework?
Totally, yeah. So regarding the transcript question, our courses are designated with a leading 7 in the number sequence of the course code on a transcript. So for example, Algebra 2A online would be designated as it would still have the MTH as any course would, but then it has the 7 in front that indicates that it's an online class. And then our 9-6, which is part of the course code. In addition, there's an OL that is next to the name of the course. For our middle school students taking a high school level math course in 7th or 8th, they're going to have a leading, it's an 8 instead of a 7. And that I think has to do with because it's a high school, goes on as a high school math elective class. Regarding the college's question, to my knowledge, colleges view online courses the same as an in-person course. I have not heard from colleges asking about the legitimacy of our program or the rigor of coursework. In addition to my 4.5 years of being here, I have not had a family reach out to tell me they were not able to get into a school because of taking an online course. I did check with the counselors at each of the comprehensive high schools, and they shared the same sentiment as I shared with all of you. There was a comment made that if a student's transcript perhaps had multiple online learning courses, like over 50% or full-time online learning courses, California schools sometimes seem to have a little different perception of that. However, Washington schools do not. We have had many students in our program who have attended various colleges and universities, from vocational schools, Ivy League, community colleges, state schools, that have completed online courses with us.
Siddharth?
I actually want to be very honest about this, but I actually did not know this program existed until like yesterday. So, I was just curious, like, how are you, like, is there a way in which you're like communicating to everyone else, like, about this program? Because I feel that, at least for me, if I knew about this opportunity, I might have taken some classes, but
Yeah. Thank you for your honest feedback. I appreciate that.
yeah.
I think that is something that we're continuously trying to work on, working and getting into our school bulletins. I think another area where we could work is even going to each of our high schools and sitting down and being available when course selection process happens, and just meet and greets with our families to get the word out about our program.
As I open up to school board members, can you tell us the top 5 classes that our students register for?
Yeah, good question. World language, use Spanish classes. I mean, I can't, Spanish 3, Spanish 2, right around there. Algebra 2 is a big class that we see a lot of. Geometry, PE, online, that's a big one lately. Yeah, that's what I would say probably is the top, and then I have a sprinkling of all other types of courses.
Director Taylor?
Yeah, just a quick question. On slide 5, you gave us the average grades.
Correct.
Just curious, in an apples to apples way, how that measures up with in person? Meaning, are these good? Do kids score higher in online classes versus in person?
I do not have the data of how they score in person. I only have the data of online, but I can look into that and get back to you.
And then one other thing, pretty phenomenal growth in this program, seems like. What is the capacity for the district? I mean, could you do this for every kid in high school? Could you do it?
I might need a little bit more help. I'm a 2-man team out at the admin building. So, but yeah, I mean, I think figuring out how to scale it with the current models that we have is definitely doable. But, also looking at our funding resources and priorities for the district as well.
Director Meraldo?
So thank you for this. It's actually been a long time since we've had a deep dive into the online learning. And I have to tell you, the thing that struck me the most was your passage rate, because I know in the past history, it was not that high. I think because most of the kids taking courses were looking at a course that they didn't pass the first time. And so the likelihood that they didn't pass it the second time. But what it tells me is that the support that you're providing students is what's allowing them to pass those classes, even when it's remediation. So that was really, really encouraging for me to see. It's great work. And, just as a reminder, so with the ALE,
Correct.
it's my understanding that we do not get like a full funding from the state for that student, correct? So my question would be, how many students does the certificated teacher have? And, or is that really kind of a cost burden for us? Not that I want to change that, but I'd like to change the law with the.
Yeah,
with
great, a
legislation.
great question. ALE is funded just a little bit less than in building is funding. It's pretty similar. Regarding our certificated ISD mentor teachers, they have a caseload of about, it really depends on what they feel comfortable taking on, but anywhere from 20 to 35 enrollments. I do also have a caseload myself that I see out of the admin building as well. But I have about 8 mentors that I work with. Does that answer your question?
Do you have more questions? Yeah. Dr. Moore?
So as the parent of a consumer of these services, I think I'm often talking about like how much air I feel like my senior has left in her day. And part of that is because she's really maximized how to leverage the online coursework. I think it's been a format, maybe probably in the learning style category, that's worked. And it's worked very well in relationship to balancing all of the other items. So one, just a really big fan of the program and the support, and as well as the amount of communication that I get. I get a lot of communication of what's going on, more than the standard high school course. So I think that's really important. I think that's probably part of some of the successes, the passage rates, the grades potentially, because I feel like I have a much more information. I'm really interested as we look forward in secondary innovation in general and how we make room for getting closer to full certifications or career readiness, how we look at the online courses as a lever in that process. And I do think right now it's a bit of a people discover it if they know, all of her friends know about it now because they know that they exist. But I think it's one of the areas that's a real enabler in how we make more space to get further down career readiness. So we've just had a very positive experience with this program, and I do hope we can get it more integrated into the I guess the more general mainstream selection process.
Thank you.
Dr. Coyne?
Thank you for this presentation. I find it fascinating. My spouse, my wife, works in the online school community here in Washington State, so this is very relevant to me. Question for you in terms of how many students would you say we retain within the district because of this offering? Do we have any sense of that? I know in my wife's space, that's kind of a conversation they always talk about.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I can pull the numbers for you if I were to just estimate. I mean, it'd be off the top of my head of students that take it again, I would say 50% of students take another course with us. But again, I'm just kind of going off of names and what I see and applications and stuff that come in, but I can definitely get that data for you.
That'd be great. And would you say too that it offers up options, maybe kids that are looking like at Running Start or some other options beyond, outside of the school? Does the online option give them something that keeps them with here versus going?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of times we do have students that are in Running Start, and we'll couple it with an online class, and it lends itself very nicely. Yeah. Since the policy right now is just 1 to 2 classes a semester, students can only take that amount with us online if they're in building. But we try to be as, flexible as possible when there are student needs that come up.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good program.
Siddharth, do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, well, and I have another question about this. So, you mentioned that there are 2 types of, there are two of the types of reasons why people enroll in online classes like is acceleration and then there's grade remediation, right? Or credit recovery. Like, is there a difference in the way like the courses are structured for both of those types of students, or is it very similar?
Yeah, really good question. Yeah, so multiple reasons why students take classes with us. Students can decide if they are doing a course for credit recovery, we do have a pass-fail option. So students can take that course with us, or they can take the course for a letter grade. We also do have an independent study course as well, and that's for students just looking to get credit for a pass-fail. But the rest of our courses, students can expect to spend about 90 to 100 hours of coursework in a semester on their class.
Sorry, I have another question. So around the, your dream big, looking at a full-time online school. So do you think, have you been able to do any measurement yet? And if you don't have a question answer, that's fine. But as to how many students might be willing to participate in that, and that would be a change then to our 2 credit policy, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, I put together a proposal, and it's something maybe, we can look at a little bit further. But yeah, I'm sorry, I lost train of your question. Can you ask that again?
Just really about what you were hoping as far as enrollment, or if we've really had a chance to talk to students that might want to be involved, and really the change in the policy as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, with enrollment, we pulled data for students that have left the district to go to a full-time online learning school. And that was around 200 secondary students, 6 through 12, that have left to go to a full-time online learning school. Actually, I just pulled it this week because I had a feeling the question might come up. So yeah, just looking at a secondary lens.
For your slide on number 4, I would appreciate if we could see data based on building out of all, I think you list 10 buildings on
okay.
that chart.
Sure.
For all 10 buildings.
Okay.
Would be helpful.
Okay.
And I would still also like to know sort of what your top classes are and if that's been a stable thing versus not.
Definitely. I can get that for you for sure.
Sorry, one more question. How does this program relate to our neighboring districts, like Washington, Bellevue? Do they have something similar?
Yeah, good question. With Bellevue, they have a full-time Bellevue Digital Discovery Academy, and it is just opened, I believe, fall of 23. It might have opened fall of 2022, actually. And they're a full-time program. Most, I've gone to a conference and just have worked with some districts, but most districts offer full-time online learning schools. We're a little bit, I think, unique in the fact that we offer the part-time program for students, which I think is a wonderful experience an option for all of our students.
I'm not seeing any more questions. Is there anything else you wanted clarification on? Or?
No, Jack has a question.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't see your hand, Jack.
I see that you had there were offerings for AP classes for students to take. Do you have any statistics on how well they perform on those AP tests comparatively to students in person?
That's a great question. I do not have that on me, but I can look into that for you.
Sorry.
For asking so many questions about this,
Okay.
but
They're great.
but like it looks like you have a two credit max policy, which you said that you're planning on moving away from. So is there like a reason why you currently have a two credit policy? Is it like staffing?
No, it's the current policy it has a limit to the number of online credits that a student can take, and that's just our current policy.
Yeah, but like, is there a reason this policy exists? Like, like, why does the policy exist?
That's
my
how
question.
this particular program was developed.
Oh.
And so that students still had the opportunity for many other things, including in-person school and other things. But that just is our current situation.
Got it.
Great. I want to say thank you. I do think the connection between our work in serving our students, excuse me, through a different modality is worthwhile as we continue the conversation on serving all of our students diverse learning needs and styles as we consider what shifts we need to make. That does include offering different opportunities. It does include maybe shifting our policies. It does include shifting different ways we think about it. So I'm glad that we had this opportunity to hear a little bit more and to be able to make those connections between overall shifts that we need to make as a district.
Thank you.
Thank you both for your work on this and for your presentation tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think every student graduating from our district would do well to have had practice with a formal online course. Not what we did during COVID, but like totally. So I think it's an important skill to have as just a learner. The next item on our agenda is Middle School Athletics Task Force Report.
Great, thank you. We had some light touch comments around this in the last board meeting, but I thought it would be helpful to have this come forward in a more formal and give it adequate space and time to be discussed. And want to say I'm so grateful for the work that Jordan Frosted and Mike Delitas, with the support of Sherry Cox and many others, in helping to bring together many people to talk about, what are the right offerings at the middle school athletics level and what are some ideas that we can do to expand these kinds of opportunities for all of our students. And I just want to, before you introduce yourselves a bit more, I do want to say that the first recommendation that's in this report, I'll just lead with the answer first, which is that full support for going forward with soccer. And I think that many people in our community will also hopefully hear that resounding support. But I also appreciate that there was a process that we went through to get to that as well. So the other two parts of the recommendations, or the final two other recommendations, take more time to talk about, and I know that we'll be taking some next steps there. So with that, I'll pass it over to you.
Right. Jordan Frost, District Athletics and Activities Director.
And I'm Mike Delitas, the Assistant Principal at Pine Lake Middle School and coordinating middle school sports this year.
And I'll be sad when he stops coordinating it next year. The purpose of our work today is to share the work and recommendations of our task force and also to present our next steps for implementation of those recommendations. So the task force was charged, kind of an umbrella area was, how do we increase access, equity, and opportunity at the middle school level, focusing on athletics? We had some previous Title IX findings that showed that we were having some inequitable athletic opportunities. We also had significant community outreach, and I know Mike and all the middle school APs can speak to that. I even had an alumni of Issaquah who has kids here now who was saying he wished we had boys soccer when he was in school. So it ranges all the way back. There are some challenges that we've had with recruiting and retaining coaches at the middle school level. So this group actually went a little further and had some ideas for how we can improve that. And then we also had a large number of students trying out for programs and not being able to participate. So one of our recommendations really focuses on how can we increase opportunities for all students. The way that we started the process, we did a district-wide recruitment of participants. So we went out on school and district bulletins. We had 60 applicants from across